It seems like the streets have been talking, and 50 Cent isn't holding back. The rap mogul just took a massive shot at Big Meech, and the reason behind it is quickly becoming a major talking point online. If you thought loyalty was the highest virtue in the game, think again. This situation might just change how you look at it. But what exactly did 50 Cent say? What's going on with Big Meech, and is the loyalty he's built his entire reputation on being called into question? Buckle up, because this one's about to get messy. One thing we know about 50 Cent is that he doesn't forget. The man holds grudges like they're part of his brand. Over the years, his beef with Rick Ross has been well documented, and it looks like Ross isn't the only one who's earned 50's wrath now. Recently, Big Meech, the infamous founder of the Black Mafia family, BMF, linked up with Rick Ross, and when 50 saw this, he took it personally. Extremely personally. What followed next was an eruption of accusations, drama, and a whole lot of receipts. For those who don't know, Big Meech is a major figure in both the hip-hop and street scenes. He's the mastermind behind BMF, one of the most notorious drug trafficking and money laundering operations in American history. Back in 1985, he and his brother Southwest T created a vast criminal empire that extended across multiple states. BMF wasn't just another street crew. They were in the game big time, mixing the hip-hop industry with their illegal operations to clean money from their drug sales. BMF even created their own record label, and while their only major artist, Blue Da Vinci, didn't make it big, they were heavily involved in the industry at the time. In the years before they were taken down by federal authorities, BMF raked in hundreds of millions of dollars, making a huge impact both on the streets and in the hip-hop world. The story of BMF was so wild that 50 Cent himself decided to turn it into a TV series, appropriately named BMF. Interestingly, the actor playing Big Meech on the show is none other than Lil Meech, Big Meech's actual son. Meanwhile, Big Meech himself has been locked up for almost 2 decades after being convicted for running one of the most powerful drug empires in history. Recently, however, Meech caught a major break in his sentence. His 30-year prison term was reduced, and in October 2024, he was moved to a halfway house. This is where the drama begins, with 50 Cent claiming that Meech's early release might have come with some shady behind-the-scenes deals, including a potential cooperation with law enforcement. And it's here that the name Tammy Cowan enters the picture. Tammy Cowan, who has been connected to Big Meech's case, is said to have played a crucial role in securing his early release. According to 50 Cent, Meech had to do a lot of talking to get this deal. And the last thing anyone in the streets wants to be labeled as is a snitch. According to reports, Tammy Cowan was a key figure in helping Meech make connections with people like Fidel Suarez out of California and Dion Gatlin, a figure from St. Louis, to arrange major drug deals. 50 Cent wasn't just throwing these accusations around with no proof. He came with receipts, including a sworn affidavit from Tammy Cowan herself, which only added fuel to the fire. 50 Cent wasn't done. He took to social media and posted more about his allegations. He accused Tammy Cowan of cooperating with the government to help Big Meech reduce his sentence. Not only did he say that, but he also hinted at an upcoming documentary that would expose the real reason BMF fell apart. In one post, 50 wrote, "The biggest mistake he ever made was not sustaining his relationship with Tammy Cowan. This wasn't just a jab, it was a direct accusation that Tammy played a critical role in Big Meech's case, potentially contributing to his early release." To make things even more interesting, reports from multiple sources suggest that while Big Meech has always maintained the down-by-law persona, there might have been some behind-the-scenes cooperation with authorities. Meech's early release and his sentence reduction raised plenty of eyebrows, and 50 Cent isn't the only one questioning how all of this came about. The alleged involvement of Tammy Cowan, who's already been accused of cooperating with law enforcement, only deepens the mystery surrounding Meech's case. The drama continued to unfold when 50 Cent went even further. He suggested that BMF, the empire Meech had built, was falling apart because of his relationship with Tammy Cowan. According to 50, this wasn't just about one person's betrayal, it was about a chain of events that led to the demise of what was once one of the most powerful organizations in America. The streets were talking, and it was clear that 50 Cent wasn't going to let this one slide. But of course, Big Meech wasn't going to take these accusations lying down. Meech came back hard, firing back at 50 Cent's claims. He posted his own responses, denying the allegations and emphasizing that he had never folded or cooperated with law enforcement. Meech doubled down on his reputation, asserting that loyalty had always been his guiding principle. He even went so far as to suggest that 50 Cent was just salty because he was doing business with Rick Ross, 50's longtime rival. This was more than just a personal beef. This was a fight over who was truly loyal and who could be trusted. Meanwhile, Rick Ross wasn't about to let 50 Cent have the last word. Ross, being Ross, took the opportunity to stir the pot even more. He downplayed the snitching allegations and accused 50 Cent of taking things too personally. Ross argued that real bosses don't crumble under pressure and that tearing others down wouldn't help anyone rise to the top. As expected, Ross wasn't just defending Big Meech. He was also trying to drive a wedge between Meech and 50 Cent, knowing full well that this would only add more fuel to the fire. But 50 Cent wasn't backing down. He's made it clear that once someone crosses him, there's no going back. The tension between 50 and Meech had officially reached a boiling point, and the ripple effects were starting to be felt throughout the hip-hop industry. Some artists, including Atlanta rapper Lil Baby, reportedly pulled out of events following the snitching accusations. If this is true, it could have serious consequences for Meech's comeback, especially since he had just managed to get back on his feet after spending years in prison. The stakes were getting higher, and the feud was only intensifying. 50 Cent wasn't just going after Meech anymore, he was targeting anyone who might be associated with him. The fallout was starting to spill over into the music business, and it was clear that this beef wasn't just about pride or reputation, it was about loyalty, business, and survival in the game. As if things weren't complicated enough, Lil Meech, Big Meech's own son, found himself caught in the middle of the drama. In a text exchange posted by 50 Cent, Lil Meech expressed his disappointment that 50 had unfollowed him on Instagram and accused 50 of managing other artists without acknowledging his role in their careers. But the real kicker came when Lil Meech admitted that Rick Ross had helped his father financially while Big Meech was waiting for BMF to pick back up. Ross had given Meech money to pay his bills until the next season of the show started. This only added more fuel to the fire, with 50 Cent clapping back at Lil Meech for not taking a firm stance with his father and instead playing both sides. To make matters even more explosive, Blue Da Vinci, a former member of BMF who had been at odds with Big Meech for years, came forward and backed up 50 Cent's claims. Blue Da Vinci dropped bombshell after bombshell, revealing that Tammy Cowan wasn't just an associate of Big Meech, she had been working with the government since 2009. According to Blue Da Vinci, the only reason Big Meech even got an early release was because of a deal that involved setting up one of his longtime associates, Cuffy. Blue Da Vinci wasn't just talking, he was putting people on the phone to back up his story, and suddenly what had once seemed like a conspiracy theory was starting to look very real. With Blue Da Vinci's testimony, the walls around Big Meech's never snitch persona started to crumble. The very foundation of his legacy was now being questioned, and the streets were watching closely. Would the truth about Meech's cooperation with authorities come to light? Was 50 Cent right all along, or was this just a bitter personal feud that had been blown out of proportion? In the midst of it all, 50 Cent wasn't pulling any punches. He mocked Meech's actions, calling him out for what seemed like a betrayal of everything he had built. 50 even suggested that Meech was about to end up on his love and hip-hop Atlanta, turning his entire life story into a reality TV spectacle. The drama surrounding 50 Cent, Big Meech, and Rick Ross isn't just about personal beef, it's about loyalty, business, and power. As the situation continues to unfold, one thing is for sure, 50 Cent is not one to let things go easily. And Big Meech, while he might want to enjoy the gifts and the good life while he can, because when you go up against 50 Cent, the fallout is always inevitable. Will Big Meech make it through this storm, or will his legacy be forever tainted? Only time will tell, but this story is far from over.